Centuries ago, in a quiet monastery, a young monk complained to his wise master, "Master, I feel heavy, sad, angry, confused. I try to ignore these feelings, but they won't leave me." The master silently looked at him and didn't say a word. Later that day, the master silently handed him a glass of water and a handful of salt. "Put this salt in the glass and drink it." The monk obeyed and winced at the bitterness. "Now come with me," the master said. They walked to a lake. The master asked the monk to throw in the same amount of salt and drink from the lake. This time, the monk smiled. "The bitterness is gone," he said. "The salt is the same," the master replied. "But the container changed. The suffering you feel is like salt. Don't try to remove it. Expand your soul instead." Negative emotions are part of life. Feeling sad, anxious, or angry doesn't mean something is wrong with you. It means you're human. The problem isn't the emotion itself, but how you handle it. Most of us try to suppress these emotions, but as the saying goes, what you resist persists. The path to peace begins with permission. Permission to feel, permission to accept, and then permission to let go. In this video, we'll explore how to overcome negative emotions and become a better person. Chapter 1. Why you need negative emotions. Negative emotions are often labeled as bad. But from a psychological perspective, emotions are simply signals, messengers that help us understand our inner world and navigate the outer one. On one hand, physical pain alerts us to injury, while emotional discomfort tells us when something in our life needs attention. For example, constant fear could alert us of unresolved emotional trauma. Sadness signals loss, which helps us through the process of grieving. Through our emotions, we drive our decision-making far more than logic alone. Without these uncomfortable emotions, we'd lack the motivation to avoid danger, repair relationships, or make changes. One of the biggest myths is that repressing negative emotions is a sign of strength. In reality, suppression often leads to mental and physical health problems. Harvard Medical School found that repressed emotions, especially anger and sadness, are linked to higher risks of cardiovascular disease, anxiety disorders, and chronic stress. Feeling is not weakness. Suppressing is. Growth often comes not through ease but through adversity. People who have gone through traumatic events have often emerged with greater psychological resilience, deeper relationships, and stronger life purpose. When you face fear and walk through it, or when you sit with grief and learn to live again, you build emotional muscle. Instead of asking, "How do I stop feeling this way?" ask, "What is this emotion trying to teach me?" Chapter 2. The myth of positive vibes only. Positive vibes only is a phrase we often hear. It sounds harmless, even uplifting, but when adopted as a core mindset, it can be deeply harmful. Here's why this mindset is dangerous. 1. It encourages emotional suppression, not healing. When we enforce positivity at all costs, we often end up suppressing real feelings rather than dealing with them. Suppressed emotions don't disappear. They go underground and often resurface in harmful ways. Anxiety, depression, outbursts, or physical illness. The reality of our life is this: you can't heal what you're not willing to feel. 2. It invalidates real struggles. Positive vibes only sends the message that only happy or upbeat emotions are acceptable, making people feel ashamed of their negative emotions. As a result, people can often isolate, thinking they're too negative to be around others. When someone is grieving or anxious and hears, "Just stay positive," it can feel like a slap rather than support. It creates a superficial life where people pretend everything is fine. 3. It promotes a shallow view of life. Life isn't just light. There's also darkness. There's loss, failure, doubt, heartbreak, and injustice. To demand positive vibes only is to deny half of the human experience. True joy is not the absence of pain. It's the integration of both joy and suffering into a meaningful, whole life. Instead of positive vibes only, accept that all emotions are valid, but not all of them are meant to control me. Understand that you can be sad without being swallowed by it. Experience that you can make space for joy and grief, and both can exist together. Chapter 3. The Power of Acceptance. The first step to emotional freedom is acceptance. Overcoming negative emotions is not about fixing them or fleeing from them. Acceptance is not about liking your pain, agreeing with it, or resigning yourself to suffering. Acceptance is about allowing reality to be what it is, without resistance or shame. And that is a powerful place to start. In psychological terms, acceptance is the willingness to experience emotions as they are, rather than as we wish they were. This doesn't mean saying, "This is fine." It means saying, "This is what I feel right now, and that's okay." It's the courageous decision to stop running from your emotions and start listening to them. The paradox with emotions is that the more you resist them, the more they gain power over you. This is James trying not to feel anxious, but he ended up feeling more anxious. Accepting that you have anger management issues interrupts the cycle where you push down the anger, and it often shows up later, louder, and more destructive. When you accept your emotions, you become more self-aware, better understand your triggers, learn how to respond rather than react, and eventually you become more compassionate toward others. Chapter 4. Practical Techniques for Emotional Healing. In order to understand and overcome your emotions, it is important that you include the following practical techniques. These techniques will help you move through difficult emotions rather than getting stuck in them. 1. Keep in mind the 90-second rule. When an emotional reaction is triggered, your body releases chemicals into the brain and bloodstream that typically take about a minute and a half to flush out. After that, if you're still feeling the emotion, it's usually because your thoughts are fueling it. You're replaying the story, reinforcing the pain. The best thing to do in such a case is not to judge or analyze it. Just let the emotions move through you. Remind yourself, this is a wave, not a permanent state. 2. Name it to tame it. This is one of the simplest yet most effective tools in emotional regulation. When you put words to an emotion, "I'm feeling overwhelmed," or "I'm afraid of being rejected," your brain calms down. Neuroscience shows that labeling an emotion reduces activity in the amygdala, the brain's fear center, and increases activity in the prefrontal cortex, which helps you think rationally and make wise decisions. Every time you feel sad, you can say, "I feel sad because I lost my mom." After that, follow what you have said with what you need. What I need right now is to accept she is gone but celebrate the life she lived. 3. Breathing and body awareness practices. Emotions don't just live in the mind, they live in the body. Suppressed emotions often show up physically, like tight shoulders, racing hearts, or upset stomachs. Deep breathing helps release stuck emotional energy and calm your nervous system. You can also try progressive muscle relaxation or yoga to discharge held-up emotional energy from the body. When you process emotions physically, you stop carrying them as a weight you can't name. Emotions are energy in motion, and the next time you feel them, don't rush to escape them. Instead, pause, name it, feel it, write it, breathe through it, and let it pass. That's how you stop being ruled by emotions and start being led by wisdom. Chapter 5. Turn your emotions into power. Negative emotions have the potential to make you a better person. They enable you to deepen your humanity and sharpen your purpose. In life, no one escapes emotional pain, but the interesting thing is that not everyone transforms from it. Those who do emerge come out with something stronger than surface-level optimism. They develop resilience, empathy, and better judgment. When you keep going even after disappointment, failure, or heartbreak, you learn that you can survive what once felt unbearable. That is how you become resilient. Empathy grows when you sit with your own sorrow, begin to recognize those same emotions in others, and eventually, the process softens your judgments towards others. The wound you experience often creates a place where the light enters you. That is why true compassion is born not from a life of ease, but from a heart that's been broken and has chosen to remain open. Chapter 6. Spirituality as a Path to Emotional Freedom. Humans have body, soul, and spirit. The soul houses the mind, will, and emotions, while the spirit is the part of us that connects with God. Negative emotions primarily affect the soul, but healing and peace come when the spirit dominates, aligning us with God's presence and truth. When we feel overwhelmed by emotions like anxiety or fear, prayer becomes the spiritual practice that realigns our perspective. Worship softens the heart and shifts our focus from the problem to God's power and goodness. This recentering can calm emotional storms,